Good morning, everybody. This is Elisa Medhus with Ginger Bailey. Her information is she's an amazing medium, and she's also a wonderful life coach. Her information will be on the screen and in the description box below. And we want to talk to you about a special organization called feathersandthings.org. Ginger,
Things.
would you like to
Sorry.
things,
Yeah.
feathers and things?
Fangs. Fangs.
Oh,
Fangs. I know it
thanks.
sounds
Oh,
like
feathers
it.
and things.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing when I first heard it. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, feathers and fangs, and they really need help. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? And then we're going to interview Val Kilmer. So stay tuned.
Yes. So this very sweet family has given up their free time to have an animal rescue. They use their own personal space, their house, their land. They don't have any outside help. They both work full-time jobs to take care of these animals. And I just thought it'd be nice if you're looking for a place to donate to.
Right.
This is a good place to go to.
If you love animals.
Feathersandthings.org. Yeah, I mean they've
Yeah,
just
I
done.
love
She's
this.
been doing this for so long, and she's so good with them. And they have a website, so you can go look at their website and decide for yourself
And
if you want to donate.
she's a channeling and Eric member too. She
Yes.
does that.
Yep.
All right, so
Long
y'all
time.
check it out, feathersandfangs.org. So now we are ready for, of course, I want to say hi and I love you to my son Eric. But
Hi, Mom.
my sweetheart, we're
Love
going to
you.
talk to Val Edward Kilmer. He was born December 31st. Wow, New Year's Eve, 1959.
News, baby.
Yeah, and he passed away 2025. He was an American actor, initially a stage actor. He later found fame as a leading man in films in a wide variety of genres, including comedies, dramas, action adventures, westerns, historical films, crime dramas, science fiction films, and fantasy films. My goodness.
Hmm.
Wow, he was he was quite prolific and so multi-talented. Films in which Kilmer appeared grossed more than 3.85 billion worldwide. And in 1992, film critic Robert Ebert remarked, if there is an award for the most unsung leading man of his generation, Kilmer would get it. So
Yeah.
let's talk about uh,
Very diverse in
right,
his
very
acting.
diverse.
you know so he's here. He's been with me for a bit. He's here, and he's saying hi, Elisa. He's saying
Hi.
thank you for this.
Oh, thank
um
you. What does he
eh,
look like?
okay, so he just is wearing kind of casual. He's kind of got like a button down shirt on, and jeans. He's just kicking back here with Eric. Very, very laid back, very casual. He the energy that I feel, I have to tell you, is very like, and I feel like this is who he was here too, not just in spirit, but very heart, very big heart, very heart strong.
Yeah.
um he was a caring guy. He Because I didn't always come across that way. Because I didn't always come across that way to some people he worked with. But he just had a strong passion for what he believed, and sometimes that didn't go too well with some people. But he says it's mostly work. Mostly that was in work. But yeah, he's he's just funny. He was making jokes. He's been cracking jokes all morning. He's very funny, very talented. You know, this isn't his first go around too. He's actually had other lives, which we'll talk about, because he thinks that's neat. That's something that he's really interested in, that he did when he crossed over, was looking into other lives. He thought that was like really interesting, looking into his lives.
We're going to get into that. All right, let's go ahead and ask questions from our lovely community. They always ask the best questions, Val.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, facing throat cancer and losing your voice as an actor must have been really difficult. What got you through, and what about tips for others facing the same diagnosis?
So he's showing me that it really showed him how vulnerable the body is. You know it's interesting. It's strong, yet it's vulnerable. Like it can overcome, but it is breakable. And you don't think about that till it hits you.
Yeah.
He says. He says it really gave him a deeper appreciation for his health, and compassion for others that had the health issues. Let's see. He says a stronger sense of self that he learned through this. Yeah, he's going. So to anybody out there dealing with health issues, especially as long as his was, I guess he's talking about he really went through this for a while. This wasn't just like a few, couple years. Just live it day by day. And he's saying, don't look at it as the end when you get sick.
Yeah.
And don't let people tell you what you can't do. He says you just keep pushing through every moment, and believing that you're healable. Because he did get healed. He did heal, even though he did lose his voice and he had the tracheotomy and that happened. He did get healed, but his immune system was so broke down by that point that
By chemo, radiotherapy, by the treatment, or
yeah, that and his lifestyle choices. He's saying there could have been something different. Now he does want people to know that if you make another choice, like in your lifestyle, like you take care of you, because he's really been talking about taking care of yourself, the body, how important the body is.
It's our temple.
Yeah, he's talking about it takes both, the balance between the body and the soul. But he's saying, like, if you're meant to go at a certain time for a certain, with something, you may not have that exact thing. Like it may not have been throat cancer from smoking, but it would have been another type of cancer, he says, which of course he thought that was kind of interesting. He thought, well, maybe because on Earth, before he passed, he thought, if I just would have done this, if I would have done that, like the human mind does, the regrets, things like that. And he was surprised to find that it's already planned in a way, not exact time and date, but in a way.
Right.
Yeah,
He had the free
right,
will to decide to smoke.
right, right.
All right. You were such an amazing actor with an incredible voice. Example, the voice of God in The Prince of Egypt. What was the significance of your illness that caused you to lose most of your voice? I mean, was it your soul contract? And if so, why? The ability to express yourself. What is the contract behind that?
He says there's many things that you learn, little things, little things that you learn about yourself, what you can overcome, how strong you really are in certain situations, he says. He also wanted to add about overcoming illness or dealing with like very strong illness that you may have. That, his love for life and determination is one of the things that really got him through. But it was a contract. It was. And what's interesting, he says, is that sometimes, and this goes back to something we were just talking about, sometimes when you have a contract, say you're supposed to leave a certain way, you're going to have things that you do to cause that. So, yeah, he could have chose not to smoke, yet it was part of his contract to get sick. So it's kind of hard to say, you know what I mean? What he's like, it's kind of hard to say if it would have made a difference, that much of a difference.
Well,
Okay.
Erik, would he have gotten throat cancer if he had not smoked?
Yeah, even Val saying no, it wouldn't have been throat cancer, it would have been another cancer. Like he still would have got cancer. That was part of his contract, he says. So it was his contract to get cancer and deal with it. And he talks about others seeing him as a celebrity and what he can overcome. It gives others, it teaches others and helps them see, well, if he can do it, I can do it. If he keeps going, I'll keep going. And it also teaches him things deep inside of who he is as a person. But there's so many little things you learn when you're dealing with something like this, when your voice is a very important part of who you are. You actually learn who you are without that. That was what he's like, you actually learn who you are without that.
Wow.
Yeah. I just got chills.
Wow. So what is the common contract? I'll give this to Erik for anybody with different types of throat problems, even recurrent strep throat or just hoarseness, chronic hoarseness, things like that. Is there a
So
particular
it
contract?
does have to do, he says it not always a contract, but it does have to do with like the throat chakra, and whether you're speaking your truth or not, or you're over speaking. Okay, so there can be an over usage.
Okay.
And it just depends. It depends on the situation, but it's not always a contract, he says, Erik said. Not always.
Okay. Can you heal that by healing the throat chakra, by balancing it, tuning it, all that kind of stuff?
You can, yes. And that's why a lot of the spiritual things that we're learning in life right now, like things in the
Yeah.
world right now that are happening, is going to make such a difference for the future, moving forward and our evolution.
All right, the movie Tombstone, oh my gosh, is my all-time favorite movie. I think that's one of mine too. And Vouch,
Thank you.
the favorite version of Doc Holliday. Were you unconsciously channeling Doc while acting this role? And what did you gain as a person from that experience?
Yeah, he says this was his favorite role. This was his favorite role that he
Oh,
played.
I bet.
Yeah, he's saying that they had a lot in common. He gained a lot more self understanding of himself, of who he is, and you do that sometimes with characters. He's saying.
Yeah.
He says that they were similar in their. Let's see if this is right. Searching for a deeper truth, deeper meanings, deeper experiences. That was something he did on a personal level.
And Doc did
Um,
too. Doc Holliday did too.
yeah.
You saying?
Mhm.
I got
Yes.
you.
Yes. They were very similar in that way. So he says this was probably one of the characters that was the closest to who he really was as a person.
Interesting. Is that why you liked it so much?
He says yes.
Your
He
favorite?
says yes. Yeah. One of the reasons. One of the reasons.
Uh,
Yeah.
so did you have a past life during the Civil War days? If so, were you actually Doc Holliday or someone similar?
Here, because he was talking about these earlier.
Oh,
There's a couple different past lives, pretty close together. Let me see. So, with that one, okay. So he's this is interesting. So he was not Doc Holliday, but he did live around that era, the Civil War era. He's talking about. He's showing me he was a black woman.
okay.
Okay,
I just had a
and
feeling with a woman. Wow, cool.
yeah, yeah, he's a black woman. And he was this is kind of cool, I think. He was a spy. He was somebody who saved a lot of people by giving secrets to the other side. It looks like to the north, from the
Okay.
south to the north, and sneaking secrets. He's showing me sneaking, and also helping people sneak away, get away, is
Wow.
what he shows me. It was more of his heroic lives he had. He's talking about more of a heroic life. He does show another one. I don't know if they're going to ask about any other past lives, but he does show another one where he was like a screenwriter or a playwright, like
Okay.
a playwright in the early 1700s. He's showing me, yeah, because the way he's dressed, I can tell. Okay, yeah, 17. So he's showing me expression has always been something that is a part of his soul, like self-expression or expression,
Rose chakra.
entertaining, entertainment, entertaining people.
Okay.
This has always been something that it was a part of him, and he has had other lives where he was and not to get into detail or anything, but he shows me like musician, things like that. So
Okay.
he's always been an entertainer.
And,
Not every life, but a lot of lives on
and
this
then
planet.
when you were a black woman, were you caught? I'm thinking maybe what if you were like hanged and that's the whole throat thing.
Yeah, he's saying that he was, but let me see what he says here, because he didn't show me the end of it.
I mean, like, were you ever hanged in another life?
He has been. He's not showing this one though.
Okay.
He's not showing that one, but yes, he has. He's saying yes to that, Lisa.
Right.
But he was not caught. No, he
Oh,
was not caught.
oh, good. All right. What was it like working and doing the Batman movies? I mean, what were you thinking when you found out you got the part, and how did you feel doing those movies?
He's saying that these were some of his he enjoyed it, but it was some of his more challenging parts.
In
These
what
are more of
way?
his challenging part. He's talking about it really was, it felt like a last minute decision is what I feel like that's what he's showing me. Like it was a last minute decision because he kept going back and forth with it.
Yeah.
Do I, if he wanted to do it or not. Um, he's showing me that he really did connect with the Bruce Wayne side of things,
Okay.
but not so much the Batman. That one
Oh,
was more challenging, he said.
excellent.
But I mean, me, Ginger, I think he did great. I think he did great.
Me
But
too.
he's talking about he struggled with that a little bit, and he says that this was around the time that he started getting in making enemies in the
Uh-oh.
workplace because he did struggle, a lot with it was almost like, okay, so he's showing me, like if you have something that you're supposed to be learning, but you don't have a lot of draw to it,
Right.
it's hard to
Oh,
learn. He's
yeah.
showing me he had that for some reason with this, but he really drew strong to the Bruce Wayne side. Like,
Like
but when it
learning what? Like learning uh
like the words, the
fighting.
lines, and the create the
Okay.
character, who the character is in a deep part. Because he shows me that he tries to stay in character a lot. In his when he was acting, he would try to stay in character throughout the movie, like just to keep that
All right. So
personality.
you were Jim Morrison in a role. First of all, have you met Jim Morrison? And have you met Doc Holliday for that matter?
He's met them all. He's met them all. He
Oh,
says
how was
yes.
that?
Yeah, he's talking about yeah, he says it was like a home, like they just welcomed him home. I feel like this is something he's showing me as like a part of his soul family in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. A lot of characters that he did present, as an actor, were connected to him on a soul level. And let me see what else he says when he met them. Yeah, he's saying that it felt natural. He just keeps talking about how it felt so natural, as if he's always known them. They have a special connection, especially Doc Holliday. He's saying there was a special connection there on a soul level, and maybe that's why Eric's going why he channeled him
Oh, yeah.
during, but he did channel a lot of characters that he played that,
Jim
you know,
Morrison? Did he channel Jim
he
Morrison?
did. He did. He
Okay.
did. Absolutely. Without realizing it, of course. He knows now. But yes, he's met them. Yeah.
Cool. Out of all the movies you were in, what's your favorite? And you said Tombstone. Is that still correct?
Yes.
Verify
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was everything in your life contracted, including your handsome physical appearance? You got more roles that way, so.
He didn't look at himself. He didn't look at himself like some people seen him. He's saying something that people probably don't know about me is that I had a very self-conscious, like before he started really getting into acting, getting well known, which kind of made him get a little bit more confident. He was very insecure about his looks.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So just
And
oh, go
he
ahead.
just didn't see himself the way others seen him. But he's saying that down to the number of hairs on his head is how he said it, to every little freckle
Oh,
was all pre-planned. All
okay.
pre-planned. Yeah.
Now, do celebrity fans make soul contracts with them to be a fan?
It's not a contract. It's more of a free will, I guess you
Right.
could say. Yeah, it's not really a contract. If there are some, he's showing me, that can get obsessive
Oh yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
and some of those may have contracts, but not all.
Yeah.
No.
Eric has some of those. Don't
Yes.
you, Eric?
Yes, he does. He goes,
Got a grippies. Yeah. Who inspired you, Val?
Ah, you know, he's saying it wasn't just one person. Um, he's showing that he was just inspired by many people out there in the Hollywood world.
Well, you could be
Just look if there's just
inspired
one person.
by a dead person like Doc Holliday. I mean, couldn't you? I mean, who most inspired you in
Well,
your life?
he's talking about there were many different actors that he was inspired by, and I just heard James Dean. I
Oh,
yeah, he's talking about James Dean. Um, yeah, he's saying there wasn't just one. He
okay.
just he just really enjoyed as he went through school because he went through school, for to be an actor.
Okay.
And there were just many things about it that he enjoyed. The entertaining part of it, the challenge. He loved the challenge to become a character. Um, but I'm not getting just one person,
Okay, that's
not
fine.
one person. Yeah.
What did you think about Tom Cruise? You worked with him at Top Gun, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Um, he he says that they were good friends. They stayed good friends
Oh,
too, even though on screen they weren't good
right.
friends. He says that they stayed good friends. However, they had a special relationship where they would banter and tease each other, and especially when we were on the set for Top Gun,
Yeah.
because they kind of again he talks about staying in character, so they
Yeah.
would do this off screen, but he says they had a very strong relationship, then that's why they could do that and be okay.
How
So
did Tom react when he found out you passed?
so uh, to answer that part, he says that he was um he had a heartbreak, like it was sad, it was unfortunate, like that kind of feeling. But he's talking about all of the people. He was like, wow, like he's just like, wow, when he passed, like how many, and he knows that he's a celebrity and people know him, but he didn't know the depth of it
The depth
until
of
after he
love.
passed.
Yeah. She
Yep,
worked
the
with
depth of the
bands.
love.
Yeah.
And the depth of how many people, not just people watching him, but people that became actors that he inspired.
Oh, that's nice. Is Tom Cruise in your soul family?
He said yes.
Okay.
He said yes.
Now, I don't know about this. This is interesting. Was Cher your soulmate, or were you in a previous life together? You and Cher?
I've had previous lives, not a soulmate, not a soulmate,
Okay.
he says, but in the soul family.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And there was a very, very deep connection between them two. They were very good friends. I feel like now I don't know everything about him and the people that,
Right.
deep details about the relationships, but what he's showing me is they did share time together, as a couple, but they just were better as friends, and
Yeah.
not to be like, oh, put you on the friend level, but he says deep friends, like very close friends. Like
That's
he could
nice.
trust her in any way, you know, shape or form. He
Okay.
could trust her. So they were very close in that way.
Is there a highway to the danger zone where you're at? Highway to the danger zone. I don't know what that really means, but you can say yes.
It's a song. It's a song, I
Yeah,
think,
right.
in the
It is.
movie. But he says no,
Okay.
no.
Now, okay, you played Batman. We're back to Batman. Can it do now that you have passed, do people really have the ability to have those kind of superpowers and special gifts? Do these kind of beings, as shown in the Marvel movies, really exist or not?
So this is really sweet, Elisa. So he goes, I'm going to get it all right here. Let me say it right. He says it depends on what you consider a superpower. He says a child that survives an abusive childhood,
That's it.
abusive home, and then chooses to spend their life. I'm getting so many chills right now. Spend their life healing others, and perform selfless acts of kindness. He says, I would say that this is a superhuman.
Yeah.
He says, so when it comes to somebody who can fly, and, you know, and run faster than a speeding bullet, he's being funny now. He's saying not on this planet. He's not gonna say no. He's saying not on this
No,
planet.
okay.
Yep, not on
Right.
this planet.
Next question. I'm interested in his commitment to the human community as an actor. He was able to communicate so many wonderful aspects of human life. Was he able to do his best at that job? That's just
What was it? What was it to?
his commitment to your commitment to the human community as an actor. You were able to communicate so many wonderful
Oh,
aspects of human life. Were you able to do that? Did you do your best at that particular job?
he did. He did. He says there were times though that he had to bring himself back to humility. He shows me a big struggle between being humble and not being humble.
Oh,
He shows this was a struggle sometimes that he would remind himself because he was a very spiritual person. He's saying he
that's
was
the
very
next question.
spiritual.
Listen,
Oh,
we're
okay,
gonna save that for part two, people. So you guys
okay.
hit thumbs up, the like button, right? And subscribe, but hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next part two with Val Kilmer. Thank you, Val. I hope you stick around. I'm sure you will.
I'll be here. I'll be
Thank
here.
you, Ginger. And of course, thank you, Erik, so much. I love you all.
Love